Okay, let me ask you a question. If you are chasing a massive goal, I mean a real personal transformation, do you think success comes from some huge, complicated master plan?
Or is it possible that all it really takes is a slight mental adjustment?
That is the exact question we're getting into today.
Yeah, it's a huge one. We've been looking at two, well, profoundly different schools of thought on how people actually achieve change. One is, relentlessly practical. It's almost mathematical, really, focused on the architecture of your day.
And the other one is the total opposite. It's intensely internal, it's philosophical, and it's all driven by this idea of absolute conviction, the power of your mind to basically attract reality.
Exactly. So our source material for this deep dive is kind of structured around that tension. We've got the science of incremental change, the 1% better model,
Right.
and we're stacking that up against the magnetic power of thought, which, is often rooted in that whole law of attraction philosophy.
So our mission today is to try and synthesize these two blueprints. We want to show you how to be both the meticulous, disciplined architect of your external world.
And the powerful, conviction-driven magician of your inner world. This isn't about choosing one path over the other.
No, not at all. It's about blending those tiny, everyday actions with a powerful, non-negotiable belief. So let's jump in and figure out how to make these two forces actually work together.
Let's start with the practical side, the science of small choices. This whole path is governed by the rule of compounding, and the numbers here are. They're genuinely astonishing.
I was blown away by this. If you commit to becoming just 1% better every single day, just 1%.
Yeah.
After a year, you don't end up 365% better. The math, the geometric multiplication, means you actually become 37 times better.
37 times. It's
Yeah.
the hidden power of tiny gains, right? And most people miss this because 1% just doesn't feel like progress in the moment.
Right? It feels like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But what our source material really drills down on is that just trying to change your actions, that's setting yourself up to fail. You have to change your identity first.
Exactly. This is the critical shift. The focus has to move from setting a goal like, I want to crack this exam, to internalizing a brand new identity.
So you stop saying, I want to be a successful person.
And you start believing, I am a disciplined, studious person. Or, some of the materials we looked at use the phrase, an officer in the making.
That reframes everything.
Okay.
Because if you genuinely believe you're that studious person, a pareku inseian, as they say, then skipping your reading or procrastinating, it becomes inconsistent with who you are.
The actions are no longer a chore.
No, they're just
Yeah.
a natural extension of your self-image. Your identity starts protecting the habit.
And to make that new identity really stick, we need a framework. The practical sources, they boil it all down into 4 simple, actionable laws for building habits.
And the goal is to reduce friction.
Right?
Make it easier to start and more satisfying to finish.
Precisely. First up, make it obvious. If you want to start reading, don't just rely on remembering. Physically place the book right next to your bed, on your pillow even.
So the cue for the habit is impossible to miss.
You can't miss it. Second, make it attractive.
Mhm.
This one taps into our basic desire for pleasure. So if you hate reviewing your notes, you have to link that action to something you enjoy.
Like listening to your favorite music while you do it.
Exactly. Favorite instrumental music, maybe. You're pairing the difficult task with an immediate positive feeling.
Okay, so what's third?
Third is make it easy. And this is where most people, I think, they really fail. They try to leap from 0 to 2 hours of intense study.
Which is just not sustainable.
Never. You need to reduce the friction until the action is almost laughable. Just start with 10 minutes. That small victory creates momentum. It tells your brain, hey, this is manageable.
Consistency over intensity, at least at first.
Always. And finally, number 4, make it satisfying. Our brains are wired for immediate rewards, not delayed benefits, so you need an instant payoff.
Like finish a chapter, get a piece of
A
chocolate.
piece of really good chocolate, yeah.
Yeah.
Or a 5-minute guilt-free break on your phone. Whatever it is, that immediate reward reinforces the loop and makes your brain actually want to do it again tomorrow.
And what's so brilliant about this framework is you just reverse it to break bad habits.
You just flip it on its head, make the bad habit invisible, boring, difficult, and totally unsatisfying.
So with phone distractions, for example, instead of just relying on willpower, which we all know is fickle,
It's totally unreliable.
you delete the app. Or, I love this one, set a 10-step, super complex password so the friction to even open it is ridiculously high.
The big takeaway here before we move on is that motivation is a fickle mistress. Your environment dictates your actions. Clean table, books visible. You win the battle before it even starts.
Okay, so that's the external world. We build success brick by brick with disciplined action, environmental control. Now let's pivot and look inward. For a lot of people, this is where it starts to feel a bit, well, philosophical.
Or even magical, yeah. But the sources we looked at treat this with equal weight, mastering the internal world of your thoughts.
And this approach is built on the idea that your thoughts aren't just passive things. They're active magnetic signals.
They create a vibration, a frequency, and the universe responds to that frequency with a kind of echo, which is summed up so beautifully by the Sanskrit word tathastu.
What does that mean exactly?
It just means, so be it. Your conviction is the signal you send out, and the universe is the echo that comes back. So be it.
And this belief system has some really specific, almost challenging rules about how the mind works. The first one is huge. The mind only comprehends images, not language.
Yeah.
Especially not negative language.
This is such a common trap. When you say, I don't want to fail or I don't want to have debts, your conscious mind hears the don't.
But the subconscious, the engine room.
It only sees the image. It sees failing. It sees debts. This is why truly successful people, great leaders, they rarely ever focus on the problem. They only focus on a crystal clear image of the solution.
Okay, that makes sense. But the second law is even harder to sort of wrap your head around. Imagination is reality to the subconscious.
Right. Your mind cannot tell the difference between vividly imagining something and actually experiencing it.
And that explains why anxiety is so paralyzing, even if the threat is just in your head.
Exactly. You feel that physical fight or flight response because your subconscious is convinced the danger is real. But the reverse is also true. If you visualize success, really feel it, hear the standing ovation from 5,000 people, the joy and confidence you feel are also immediate. They're real. You're programming your body for that future.
And the third law here deals with our belief about abundance, or the lack of it.
Yeah. The sources break our mindsets down into 3 categories: lack, enough, and more than enough. Most of us operate from lack, or maybe enough.
But get this is the detail that just floored me. Less than 1% of people genuinely operate from that more than enough belief system.
And yet that tiny fraction is said to hold 99% of the world's wealth.
That statistic is. It's a powerful argument for just auditing your own inner dialogue, isn't it?
It really is. It suggests that if your default setting is scarcity, your mental filter will only ever show you scarcity. But if you can switch it to believe in radical abundance, your filter starts showing you opportunity everywhere.
So to help you make that switch, we found this incredibly practical technique in the material. It's called the Power of 5 Journal.
This is deliberate mental programming. You do it every single day. You write down 5 things in 5 categories. And the key is you have to write them with positive adjectives, and this is crucial, as if they've already happened.
Okay, so what are the categories?
You start with 5 victories from the day, big or small. You'd write something like, I brilliantly handled that difficult meeting. Then, 5 reasons to love yourself more today.
Then 5 desires, written as if they're already fulfilled. So not, I want a new apartment, but I am now living effortlessly in my new apartment.
Precisely. After that, 5 daily blessings, which is all about gratitude. And finally, 5 qualities you want to develop, but again, you write them in the present tense.
I am a decisive and great leader.
I am effortlessly consistent with my daily study. This whole practice ensures that the internal magnetic signal you're sending out is consistently positive and definite.
Okay, so now we get to the core of it. How do we marry these two things, the mundane, incremental work from the first segment with this radical imaginative conviction from the second?
For the listener who's highly skeptical, how do we bridge that gap between setting a 10-minute study timer and, visualizing a standing ovation?
And the synthesis happens through action that's driven by that conviction. The mechanism in the middle is our own brain's filter, the reticular activating system, the RAS.
The RAS is basically your brain's very sophisticated bouncer. It takes instructions from your conscious thoughts and your beliefs, and it decides what information, what opportunities, what cues from the outside world are relevant enough to even show you.
Right. The classic example is being at a loud, crowded fair. There are thousands of conversations, music, noise. Your RAS filters it all out.
But if someone mentions your name, even quietly across the street,
Your attention snaps right to it. That's the RAS doing its job.
it's So if you're programming your mind daily with that Power 5 journal and those visualizations, your RAS starts working for you. It filters out the noise and it highlights the resources, the people, the random bit of information you need to reach your goal.
But if your thoughts are full of doubt and negativity, the RAS works just as hard to make sure you only see obstacles, which just reinforces that cycle of failure.
This brings up the immense power of doubt. In this conviction model, doubt is the absolute enemy of manifestation. It's a mixed signal. It confuses the universe's response, and critically, it confuses your RAS.
You have to eliminate the wobble.
Exactly. There was this powerful story we came across about a student who grew up poor but had this absolute, unwavering conviction he would one day get a major national award, a presidential honor, specifically.
So he didn't just study hard.
No, he did more. He bought an empty picture frame, the exact size for a large presidential photograph, and he kept it in his room for years. He lived as if the award was already his. His RAS was constantly scanning his world for opportunities to earn it. That fusion of belief and effort made it inevitable.
Wow. That story perfectly illustrates the ultimate philosophy here. The be-do-have approach. Most of us live a have-do-be life.
Right. I must have the money or the perfect plan so I can do the work, so I can finally be successful. We wait for external conditions to be perfect.
But extraordinary people flip that. They be-do-have. You must first be the successful person now. You visualize it, you internalize it, you take on that identity.
Then the doing, that 1% daily action, it just flows naturally from who you are, and the having the results, the resources it has to follow. If you're being a fit person, the morning workout, the doing becomes automatic.
And this brings us to the final crucial step. Action has to be immediate. It's not enough to know about atomic habits or to have this radical conviction.
Right. If you know how to get fit, but you're slouching on the couch, the knowledge is worthless. The sources really stress this. The universe loves speed. When that signal hits you, that spark of motivation, or when your RAS shows you an opportunity, you have to act on it immediately.
I have to maintain that energetic momentum.
And this all ties back to self-love. Whether you're building habits or attracting success, confidence and a positive self-image are everything. The story of the woman who struggled with her weight is the perfect final example. She only saw real physical change when she stopped thinking fat thoughts.
She started internalizing slim thoughts, believing she was beautiful and worthy.
Her internal conviction dictated her external reality. It made those 1% actions, the healthy eating, the exercise, it made them sustainable because it's just what a slim, healthy person does.
So this has been a deep dive into the dual levers of transformation. On the outside, you are the disciplined architect, designing an environment that pushes you to be 1% better every single day.
And on the inside, you are the master programmer. You're maintaining absolute clarity and unwavering conviction in your thought patterns, making sure your inner signal is always set to that so be it frequency.
At the end of the day, success really does seem to stem from managing your inner state. If you feel happy, decisive, abundant, your signals are positive.
But if you feel miserable, anxious, or fearful, your signals are negative. Monitor your feelings during the day. They are the clearest window you have into the thoughts that are dictating your destiny.
We'll leave you with some profound words from Albert Einstein. He said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world."
So reflect on your own internal pain and pleasure calculation right now. What is that one life-changing risk, that one defining action that you have consistently avoided because of fear?
You know that risks are necessary for a flourishing life. So knowing the power of both your 1% action and your absolute conviction, what concrete step are you going to take toward that risk today?
Remember